Thank you very much for sharing our stories. My name is Flavia Testa. I am a visual artist, and I'm currently living in the Aspetuagon Peninsula in Nova Scotia. And I've been here. I have a love hate relationship with Nova Scotia. I've been coming back and forth from different parts of the world back home. This is home to me. Um, for the last, I've been told 35 years. I've been able to do quite a lot of visual art when I come to Nova Scotia because of its just meandering landscapes and wonderful nature, and you can really get your work done without being too distracted by big cities and other places. I've lived in a lot of places around the world, um, from South America, Central America, Europe, the Middle East, mostly because I also do translations, and I did that for quite a long time, and that brought me to different places for my work. And I was always a visual artist since I was about 2 years old. So my original passion has always been that, and so um, I'm a self-taught illustrator, so I keep doing what I do and happily do it. And I am a mother of three grown teenagers at this point. And I'm in the sandwich generation, also taking care of two elderly parents here in Nova Scotia, and have a husband in Italy. So we're very international and all over the place, which makes my life incredibly creative and very, very fun because I always have to figure out where I'm going next. This is a series that I've been working on lately. I don't know if you can see that. And it's a reinterpretation of images by Sandro Botticelli, and I've recreated them with sort of new identities with the women that I actually come in contact today, because I actually do a lot of work with women's groups and also mothers and marginalized groups of people, because it's fun and I get to have a creative outlet out in society, which seems to help others. And that was a big drive for me for a very long time, and I've been doing that for about 20 years, working with these kind of groups, and rather have people look at my artwork than try to teach them something with my words, because I think that's not really my language. Although I like the idea of listening and toning things down and not coming from this I'm so wise and you should hear me because I have something, because everybody has their own story. And this idea that we can just generalize your experience onto somebody else, I find incredibly limiting, the same way that I find incredibly limiting, like I was saying before, working with marginalized or interest groups. It's very limiting because it doesn't give you the full spectrum of what's going on. And to be humanistic and a humanist, which I think I gear more that way, I feel like I'm part of the human species, and that's hard enough. To actually make a difference, sometimes you have to do a 180 and just be really quiet and listen and not say anything. Sometimes it's about not saying anything and realizing that just your actions will speak louder than words. I think people in your videos have voiced that over and over. I've seen that in you as a recurring theme. I don't think I'm different or special more than anybody else. I just think when you're an artist, you just maybe tap into things that people don't necessarily see, the shadows and the light, and you bring that out the best you can to give somebody an emotional experience. So I think I can talk a little bit from the 2019 perspective of women that I've encountered in different places and spaces that I've traveled and lived in. There's certainly a very huge difference between, say, Eastern women and Western women. But I don't think fundamentally that the priorities and what we feel are important are different at all, actually. And that is safety, well-being, health. Your inner family circle needs to be well and near you if that's possible, and that you just want to have the best life possible for the people that you are holding near and dear. I don't think that is uncommon to most people. And that is something that we certainly, as women all over the world, universally share. Absolutely. Especially if you're moms, and even if you're not mothers, women tend to build, women tend to fix, women tend to be the drivers of their communities, of their family circles. If the woman collapses, everything else falls apart, which is why more than the feminist push or more than any of it is just, support human beings beside you, and just try to be as nice as you can be and as supportive as you can be. And I do feel that in North America there's a lot of battles that have been won. I do think there is a certain element of self-oppression that is now happening as a counter lash to the things that we have been able to get, that women in other parts of the world have absolutely no acquaintance with. So there are women in this world who are still being sexually oppressed, who suffered genital mutilation, who suffer not being educated, who suffer early child marriage, who suffer murder at the hands of family members. There is a lot of things still going on in a lot of other places that we can talk about, and we can be angry about, and we can get upset about. But me sitting here on a beautiful iPhone in the middle of peaceful Nova Scotia, there's a lot of levels of hypocrisy that you see when you do travel. So I think one of the best gifts that you can give to people, if it's possible, is the idea of language and travel, because that opens up huge worlds. And I have been a language teacher. I did do that for a great number of years at the Nova Scotia Community College. And it opens people up to other things, because even your vocabulary and how you use your words, it's very different in different cultures, and words have meaning. And I think that's something that I've noticed, is that how people use their words and what they say to each other, though the message, we use about 1,700 words a day, and they're always the same ones. And if you say them in Russian or Portuguese or English or French, in your inner circles, you're basically saying the same things. However, words have meaning, and they have heaviness, and they have lightness, and what you say, it matters. It matters what you say to people. And I think that's a little bit lost, maybe more in the West. I think that this immediacy also with Twitter and things that you can access very, very, very quickly, you don't think before you speak, and maybe you don't think before you're typing. I don't know. That's just an observation. It's not a critique, really. It's just an observation that I think we move fast, and we move so fast we don't realize the hurt that we do. I think, connecting with people in a real way, and maybe going outside of your comfort zone a lot more, like really outside the comfort zone, and not just maybe rambling on about it on Facebook as a thing. If you really feel that you want to make a difference somehow, and you want to do something, then you really should find out what your aim is and try to figure that out first before just running off in all directions. I also think that people are much more intelligent than we give them credit for. And that's something that with the media, with the social media, with just how our world, I'm talking North America at this point, because this is where I'm rooted at the moment. You need that critical thought, and you need to question things, and understand in a more global way how things are going, and that we're not just in one spot. And it, although you are just in one spot, you're also in everywhere. And this permeability that we have, that we're able to see what's happening in Yemen, or what's happening in Venezuela, or what's happening in the United States, and this constant judgment that we have on other fronts, which we know nothing about because we're not living it. That doesn't mean you don't have an opinion. That's okay. But having an opinion and then following it through with something, that's a huge chasm. And I think we've lost, again, because of our words, because of the immediacy, because everything is right there. We've lost the connection of understanding, well, if you're bashing something because you hate it, or because you think you hate it, think it through. Think it through before you jump you want to save the planet, but you don't want to clean up your yard kind of thing. Or you want to, be active politically because you don't like something that's going on somewhere else, but you don't write your own political people that are right next door. There's so many things that, I mean, I think as an artist, I bring out the hypocrisy between all the actions and the things that we say. And I think that's something that people, I think they understand it. And that's what I mean. If we treat people with intelligence, you'll go way further, even between us, and not be so sensitive about all sorts of topics. I think people can take it. And I think we've been sensitized to not take it, and that we're constant victims of whatever's going on. And I don't think that's true. And I think I'm absolutely optimistic